Good afternoon and welcome to the Athens City Planning Commission. It is April 1. Happy April Fool's Day, everyone, although we won't be fooling around in this meeting. It is roughly 12:01, and looking around, I see that we have all planning commissioners for the city of Athens that are present, so we do have a quorum. For anyone who wishes to speak today, if you would turn on your camera and unmute yourself and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear that any testimony given today to the City Planning Commission will be truthful. You can just say, I do.
I do.
Okay. All right, thank you. Disposition of the March 18th, 2021 meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review those. Are there any comments from the Planning Commission with regards to the March 18th meeting minutes?
No.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from March 18th?
So moved, John Katowski.
And second from Chief Pyle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Meeting minutes are adopted. We have two cases today. As we move into each case, case number 2101 and 2102, I would like to mention that, as I have been informed, there are still some issues to be resolved with these two cases, and therefore we will not be voting on these two cases today, although you have received the documents. And what I do want you to do is we will open up for discussion of both case 21-01 and 21-02, and we'll take each in turn. So starting with case 21-01, and I'm going to kind of throw this for opening comments to the Director for Development and Code Enforcement, David Riggs. Director Riggs?
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, I think this is the Kershaw Green Apartments, and we actually looked at this. The developer's been working hard at making the corrections or making the changes that staff asked for from the last Planning Commission meeting at the last meeting we had. We did have a couple more comments on this project. I know that I sent a letter. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that or not, or a memo. There are a couple things that we're still working with the developer to get the OEPA plans approved for both water and sewer for this project. The developer is also working on the easement, the right-of-way easement that goes across the proposed access site that's owned by somebody else. So they're working on getting that fixed for us. They've done made a lot of the requested changes for this project, and I think for the most part, the city seems to be happy with the changes that are being made, although we do have the engineering department that wants to take another look at the plans. Jessica hasn't had a chance to go through all of the revised plans that we received from the engineer on the 26th, that last Friday. Had any questions? I would also mention, if anybody on the Planning Commission wishes to have a hard copy, the the developer has provided a half-size sheet on 11 by 17. I'd be more than happy to print those out for anybody that would like to get a copy of those. Just shoot me an email and let me know, please. Thanks.
Let me open it up for discussion from any of the commissioners.
I have a, so let me, one thing I don't know, and maybe David, you have some insight, or even Paul possibly. It's so now, we've got a University Estates across the street, and we've got the two apartment complexes that are going to be put in there. And I think there's quite a bit of traffic there. Has anybody looked at the idea of acceleration, deceleration lanes, widening out 682 at that point so that people can slow down to make a turn, or they got a lane to pull out on, or, I don't know. Has there been any investigation in that? And, or is anybody concerned that there may be, quite a bit of traffic that might result in some accidents and things that maybe weren't there before?
Mr. Katowski, we did have a concern there as well. We asked the developer to provide us with a traffic impact study based on ODOT criteria to see if there would be an issue there they did traffic counts, and it's all based on the proposed amount of vehicles per day that goes through this site. If the developer's engineer is on staff, he may be able to respond to that and talk to you about the study and what the results were of that.
Yeah, this is Chuck Garvick with Chade Engineering. Yes, we did have a third-party traffic engineer do a complete study of that area, including the proposed loads for the Kershaw Green and Tyler Park apartment complex. And the study came back with no recommendations made for any kind of deceleration or acceleration lanes from either project. It was also noted in a review from the city that the city reviewed that study and also agreed with it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Katowski, what that did was we have requirements, or the state has requirements on where we would want to have an XL decel lane, where it would be safe to put those in. And at this time, based on the proposed traffic flow, the state and I think the staff agrees that that a XL decel lane doesn't meet the minimum requirements based on those state criteria. Doesn't mean we wouldn't do something in the future, but it doesn't look like the additional traffic there would meet the warrants that are needed.
That doesn't surprise me that would be the case, that what are we talking about, 56 units and 51 units. So it's not a lot of probably cars going in and out of there. But it does seem like there's quite a bit of traffic, particularly in the mornings and in the evenings already in that particular area, which is, I think, is kind of challenging. I've found that to be the case a little bit when I've been out that way riding my bike. Anyway, but let me ask this question too. There is adequate right of way on 682 to do something if we needed to do something there in the future.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Okay.
The other thing
looked like that to me. Yeah. Okay.
To your question and your comment, Commissioner Katowski, I too kind of looked more on the University Estates Boulevard side, of the possibility of deceleration lanes. I have spoken with the acting director for engineering and public works, what could be possible. So I would concur with Mr. Riggs, Director Riggs, that, there could be some possible expansion or creation of deceleration lanes in the future if they were needed, if warranted for future traffic studies in that area. That holds true for development that we're seeing, the increased development up at University Estates itself as well. So.
Mayor, I would also point out that we were interested in making sure that there was safe sight distance from the proposed access from Kershaw Green, and the engineer did a study on sight distance to make sure that based on the speed of traffic coming in, that you could see that there was a safe distance to be able to pull out from that proposed access point. So they did that study as well.
And I would assume that if something were necessary, there might be some ability to get some funding from ODOT or other people to do that, since it's a state right of way at some point, right? That would, funding wise, or nobody's sure about that, I guess, huh?
We'd have to explore that.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
In more detail. Commissioner Bain, anything from you, questions that you might have of the WOTO team that's here with us today? And you are muted if you're speaking. Okay, I will take silence as potentially no comment. Okay, if there is no other comments on case 21-01, I suggest we move on. Or comments from the WOTO team. Any comments from any of you? Tom, Mr. Simmons.
Thank you. So just to touch base, is there something on our end you're waiting on us? The reason that there's not a vote, is there something we can talk about? Or I was really hoping to have a vote today. I wasn't sure if it's on our end or not, or what the issue is.
Mr. Riggs, if you would like to. Sure. So, yeah, one of the things we've looked at, and this is, you guys have done a great job of trying to answer all of our questions. The city is still not sure whether or not, this is regards to the Tyler Park section of the plans that has a proposed lift station, pump station for sanitary sewer. We're not sure whether or not this would be a good idea to have this as a private station, or whether it should be acquired by the city, and so the city would own and maintain that lift station. We'd still like to do some additional, have some additional thoughts on this internally before we decide what we're going to do. If we do want to make this a public lift station, we would want to, we would ask that the developer include some additional stuff for the lift station, so that would match what we would be doing with the city. So we're still trying to figure that out internally at this time, and I don't want to discuss further on our end.
So we couldn't ask for a vote if you vote to approve the site plans as proposed, contingent on the lift station discussion?
I would leave that up to the planning commission, but this is probably something that's a little more in depth than just a standard approval with conditions.
Okay.
In this case, yeah. Okay,
I just was asking. I understand.
We feel that we can more than likely have everything ironed out before the next meeting, which would be in 2 weeks. and
Okay,
take it
sir.
up at that point in time. So it's not a long extended period of time in which we would be discussing this. We just think that the city's engineer, Jessica Dine, would pretty much, in working with you, have all the answers, as we work our way through this in the future. So again, everything else looks great. It's just wanting to be very mindful of the lift station in particular. And again, if it were to be a public lift station, telemetry would be needed, so that it's in line with the rest of our city system, which is it's all telemetric. So we have telemetry coming in from that lift station so that we know when it's functioning properly and versus not. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other questions or comments regarding 21-01, let's move on to 21-02, Tyler Park Apartments.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the Tyler Park Apartments. We have comments that we sent to the developer. They have responded to almost all of those. The big question we have still is whether this lift station, pump station on the Tyler Park Apartments section of this development will be a public lift station or private lift station maintained by an outside entity. On this project, we also had access on Lurig Road. Lurig Road is currently and will be for at least sometime in the future a township road. I know that the township trustees have looked at that and accepted that access onto their road. So that road will be owned and maintained by the township and not the city. And they have given blessing on the access point onto Lurig Road for this development. There were other minor comments or comments that we're still addressing on this. Most of them have been taken care of.
Okay. Thank you, Director Riggs. Any questions again from any of the planning commissioners? City Planner Paul Logue.
Good afternoon, Mayor. I just wanted to let the Planning Commission know as well. David and I have met and discussed there is a floodplain in here. There's a creek back there. I think it's Old Furnace Creek or something like that. It's mapped on the FEMA flood maps. However, it doesn't have base flood elevations with it, which is typical of floodplains in the city of Athens. David and I met. We've had multiple communications with the WODA group regarding this. We've reviewed it, and everything looks good from a floodplain permitting perspective on our end.
Great. Thank you, Planner Logue.
Okay.
Not hearing.
If I could just add one more thing, Mayor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. This has the landscaping plans for both these developments have gone to the Shade Tree Commission for review. I think at this point we're talking about maybe a few trees on each one of these 13 trees on Kershaw Green would need to be banked. They can get almost all of the trees on there, but not quite. And I think it's 12 trees for Tyler, so it'll be a total of about 25 trees that I believe the developer is recommending that they bank those trees to the city.
All right. Thank you, Director Riggs. And I'm assuming the WODA group that you're okay with that as well, with the tree banking of 25 trees. Okay. Seeing head nods.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Great. All right. Like I said, we will table this until the next Planning Commission meeting, and we will certainly invite all of you back again. So please come back in 2 weeks. Again, that's just so we're doing our due diligence with you as we move forward with this plan for needed housing here in the city of Athens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have no communications today, so we're going to move straight into reports from the city planner and the director of development and code enforcement. So city planner Paul Logue.
Good afternoon again, everybody. Just two items to update this afternoon. The first is I have scheduled a meeting with a representative from our FEMA floodplain district in Chicago for tomorrow morning. I wanted to touch base with them and get an update on the status of the updated floodplain maps that were preliminarily issued to the city of Athens back in 2013, 8 years ago now, March of 2013, and have been on hold pending an appeal of those maps that the city of Nelsonville made. Just getting a little bit frustrated with it, trying to get some resolution on our path forward with those issues. It is in some ways it's making some of our development complicated, more complicated than it should be, and so I'm trying to clarify and get some pathway forward with them to help with floodplain permitting as well. So I have that meeting tomorrow morning. I will keep Mayor Patterson and David and anybody interested. I'll keep you updated on what resolution from that. Other item of note is the Athens County Age-Friendly Age-Friendly Athens County Coalition. We are continuing to work on our planning. We should have, I mentioned a survey several times now. That survey should be coming out momentarily in the next couple of weeks. We are down to the final draft and just a couple more comments, and then that will be distributed countywide. It's a lengthy survey. It's probably going to take people about 20 minutes to complete. But we encourage everybody to participate in this survey. It's going to really help us moving forward, both in the city of Athens and around Athens County, to better provide services, housing, resources for all of us as we're traveling through the aging spectrum. Thank you. If anybody has any questions or comments for me, I'm here.
Any questions for Paul?
Thank you.
Director Riggs.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to give an update to the Planning Commission regarding Title 21. A lot of what we see here is the site plan development projects, Title 49, but the Planning Commission is also responsible for Title 21, which is subdivision plans, and that includes what we have been calling minor subdivisions or lot splits. Over the years, the responsibility has been handed from Planning Commission just for minor lot splits to the zoning administrator, and I came up with a potential issue that might come to City Planning Commission regarding a lot split variance, a waiver of the plans for a minor lot split. I actually had been talking with our law director about the exact way to do this, and the way I understand this, for a variance for a minor subdivision, that has to go to Planning Commission for recommendation and then to City Council for approval. So if you had a lot split outside of the city, which this one is, that doesn't meet the minimum criteria for a lot, then I would have to present that to the Planning Commission, and then that for a recommendation, and then it would go to City Council for approval. Just wanted to let everybody know that that's what I think the process is after talking with the law director, and that may be one of the subdivisions that comes for review at this commission later on this year. I don't know if anybody had any questions on that. Thanks.
Thanks, Director Riggs. I apologize to Planning Commissioner Nancy Bain. Nancy, I did not see that your hand was raised or didn't see it in the chat. Did you have, unfortunately, a comment over the previous cases, or is that something that we can bring up at the next Planning Commission when we have WOTA come back? I'm still not hearing any audio from Commissioner Bain. So, oh, the wonders of technology these days. Okay. Seeing that we don't have, I know we have the city planner's intern, Lauren Connor, who's here with us today. And I don't assume that Lauren has any comments or questions, but if you do, Lauren, now's the time to bring anything up, because it is the opportunity for citizens to speak on items that are not on the agenda today. Okay.
Hi, sorry, I had a lag there. No, I don't have anything to speak on. I'm just here to listen in.
Well, welcome, Lauren. Announcements and other business. Does anybody have any announcements for the Planning Commission or the viewing audience? Okay. I don't have any updates. So other than that, our next meeting will be April 15th at 12 p.m. And so therefore, can I get a motion to adjourn? We have a motion from Chief Tom Pyle. Do I have a second?
Motion.
Second from Austin Phillips. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in to the